We're loving seeing you on the pit, and I think many people may not even recognize you caked in dirt and the long hair and everything. And I think maybe one of Google's top results could be like, who is Digby on the pit at this point? Because he's still a mystery, but also, like you playing him was just exceptional. How did this role find you?
Oh wow. Through the normal channels, I guess. I auditioned. That's I had been in a few short films prior to the audition for the Pit, where they wanted me to grow my hair out and be shaggy, and I just kind of let it go and let it keep going. And I had a feeling, which sometimes happens, that maybe I should just you know keep it long for a little while, see what happens, um, and then I got this call for, this homeless character who needed to be as shaggy as possible, and I went, "Hey, let's go for it." And I read for it, and luckily, Noah and John Wells and all the producers and directors liked it and said, "Okay, bring him in." Um, and yeah, it's the kind of role I've really been looking for a long time. It's something that just he has heart, and I like that.
What then backstory were you kind of given on him, or are you not allowed to tell too much just yet since we're still only several hours into the shift?
Um, Interestingly, I wasn't really given a lot of backstory. I asked John Wells, who directed the first episode, um, what's this guy's deal? And he said he is bipolar and schizophrenic, but more than anything, he's homeless and he's tired. He's been, you know, when you're sleeping on the streets, a lot of times you don't get a lot of sleep at night, and it's first episode is 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It's really early, and he's having a day of clarity, and so he that's why he's here. And yeah, that's what I went with.
What was the shower scene like then for you?
That was weird. I am not the guy they usually call for nudity when it comes to on-screen stuff. And they mentioned that it was a probability, and I signed an acknowledgement saying, yes, I understand this role does require nudity. Um, but it helps the story. It fits the story. And I think it brought a little extra fragility to the character. And I think I thought it was important, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I knew they were going to do it tastefully because I mean, I know there's a lot of really gross stuff, but they weren't going for the money shot for me. So
It was less about that and more about the fragility, as you said. Yeah, we could see, like he needs like a very like pressure wash kind of deep cleaning.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I felt I always feel weird having to do. I've done a few scenes where I had to be nude in different projects, and I always feel bad for the people involved who didn't create the show. Well, the crew who are kind of exposed to all of that without much warning and without much choice, and they're just uh, you know poor Leticia
Poor
and
Em, I was gonna say, poor Emma's first
yeah,
day on the job involves
right,
hosing you down,
right,
learning to
right,
hose you down because Dana pretty much alludes to the fact that she will have to do it a lot, maybe even with you a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just awkward, having these. Catherine Lanasa is just a a goddess in this business, and Leticia just graduated from Juilliard, and here she is, her first real big role, and, and she's having to do this scene where she's scrubbing on this skinny homeless guy. Yeah, it was awkward, that's for sure.
We have to ask about the maggots.
Yeah.
Noah has said that they were very careful, even had sort of like a handler on set to
Yes.
be sure none were harmed in the making of your arm. Um, Talk about crafting that scene and how you have to, sort of keep your arm maybe still. What went into what went into that moment when you're filming?
Well, yes, we did have a maggot wrangler. She was the one who provided the maggots, grew them, raised them, um, and brought them in. And she's an animal lover, and she knew as much as you can know about them. Um, and so, yeah, we're always careful. You never want to harm any living being
Sure.
for people's entertainment. I never want to harm another living human being for people's entertainment. And so it's very important that we take care of everything, and including maggots. And so we were careful with that. They did have I had prosthetics on my arm underneath the cast. That to give me the scar tissue and um the I guess waterlogged arm look from having that cast on for as long as I had apparently had it on. So I didn't have maggots directly on my skin. And again, they also warned me before I got hired that there's going to be maggots. Are you okay with that? And I signed another acknowledgement saying yes. I'm okay with that. Uh,
Could you
I had
feel
a
them then on your skin, even through the prosthetic?
I could feel them through the prosthetic wiggling because we used, they had some fake blood in the scars, and that blood had corn syrup in it, which for the maggots was like, just
Eating.
the stuff. Yeah, it was like they went into a feeding frenzy the second they got near it, and so you could feel them, wiggling around and just trying to get into the little crevices of the scar tissue that was, the prosthetic scar that was on my arm. And you could definitely feel that, and it was a very weird sensation. But I managed to just suck it up. I had a acting mentor, a theater director I worked with for about 6 years in Fort Worth, Texas, and he had a few colloquialisms that really kind of summed up acting, and one of my favorites that I use all the time was, "So you wanted to be an actor."
This
Um, it's
was a part of it.
Yes, is getting naked and having maggots climb all over you. That is being an actor sometimes. It's not all, glamour. That's for sure.
I mean, how long were you in the makeup trailer getting un-Charlie Baker?
Yeah. It was anywhere from, and it depended on how much they were going to see of me. It was anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours. For the shower scene, because that's the only time I had my clothes all the way off. They had to cover my entire body with dirt and mud, and with makeup that resembled dirt and mud and feces, I guess you should say. Um, and it was a process not only to get on, but also to get all the way off. It took a couple days of showering sometimes to really really scrub all that stuff off. Um, so yeah, it was there was a lot of makeup time, and I loved it. It was a good time to just sit and meditate and get ready for the role. And seeing yourself like that kind of can be humbling. And that was something that I really wanted into that character too. So it helped just build the role.
From there, we sort of lose track of Digby until he pops up watching this procedure done. And they just look over and like, where were you? I forget where you said you were like looking, you were like wandering around or
Yeah,
something.
I wandered around because I was in the viewing room with Louis,
Oh,
who had
that's
just passed
right.
away.
Oh,
And um, I learned, as we were shooting, I learned he and I had been friends. Because we were both homeless. We probably hung in the same camps, and haunted some of the same places. And so that's for episode 7. That was where I was as I disappeared. Episode 8 is when I come back and said, I was hanging out with Louis. Um, and we did that great, Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life reference with Louis Got His Wings, which, that's I don't get all of the scripts until we're about to shoot them. A couple days before we shoot them, and they send me the script and go, "Here's what's happening in this episode," and you get to find out a little bit more about your character every episode. And so yeah, it was very endearing to me. Ernest Hardin Jr., who played Louis, I've been watching him since I was 7, 8 years old. He was on the Jeffersons and several. That was the main thing I remember him from as a kid, because I used to watch that show, reruns of the Jeffersons every morning before school. And uh, Ernest had a recurring role on the Jeffersons that was pretty impactful. And to be able to meet him was what off camera on the set was just such a great honor. But to be able to say I was his friend was it's just it means a lot to me. I get sentimental sometimes about characters I play, and about especially when it comes to mixing, the lore of Hollywood that I grew up just enamored with, until I moved here. And I'm still enamored with it, and I'm still amazed every day that I get to be here doing what I'm doing. And then to be able to mix that with a role, and put the same kind of enthusiasm into it, it brings me joy.
are you able to tease if we will be seeing Mr. Digby here in the final few episodes of the season?
I don't know if I'm able to, but I'm gonna. Yeah, you'll see him. He'll be around. I'm looking forward. Honestly, my good stuff hasn't happened yet, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how, if the audience remains as kind to him as they've been so far. I loved the way the fans have been really digging Digby. Um, and I think they're gonna keep digging him. I hope so. But yeah, I'll be there for a little while.
He seems very gentle as well with Emma. He seems like, like I believe he references, like she's gonna be like she has her nursing career ahead of her, she seems like a good egg for this hospital. And Dana seem to have a rapport as a frequent flyer to this hospital. And that relationship when she sits you down and sort of face to face, but still lovingly cares for you in a way and teaches Emma these people deserve respect. This is how we care for them. Some of the most powerful moments of this season, not just of the series as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It must mean a lot for you to be a part of those poignant moments too.
It really does. It really does. I love that moment, with Dana, that really kind of reminded Digby of his own humanity.
Mhm.
You can kind of lose sight of that when you're covered in dirt, and a pariah in society, so to speak, and everybody looks at you and just turns their head and holds their nose. And um this was probably the first bit of dignity he's been given in a really long time. um and yeah, it's a beautiful thing to show that, everybody deserves humanity. Everybody deserves kindness, and we're all worthy of love, no matter what we look like or smell like.
What's next for you, Charles? Have you been busy working on some projects? I mean, your IMDb, you just are a nonstop worker.
I try to be. I got a family to support, so I have a few projects coming up that I'm not really allowed to mention. I just had a film on Amazon Prime come out called You Can't Win, in which I have a decent role with Michael Pitt and Will Patton and so many really good actors, including Rusty Schwimmer, who plays the other night nurse, Dana's current contemporary, uh, and so yeah, I'm hoping some people will watch that because it's a really good movie that uh, just hasn't been seen by enough eyes yet. I I made my own short film, which is in the festival circuit right now, called Ghost of You, and
Okay.
it's it was just a project I did, because I wasn't doing projects, and I wanted to, break off some of the rust. And uh, anytime I'm not working on a studio project or somebody else's independent project, I like to make my own just to keep going. And it helps also to understand, what are directors going through, what are producers going through, what's the hair and makeup and the sound department going through, and how can I make my job as an actor easier by understanding their jobs. And so practicing that is pretty important to me, and it's fun.
I can only imagine the cast of characters that you can compile for a movie because you've touched, I don't, it may end up being like 5 degrees of Charlie Baker at some point
That'd
because
be cool.
you have been in so many different things. You've worked with so many incredible actors. I mean, is there a dream co-star you've yet to work with?
Oh, there's so many. I couldn't even begin to name all of them. I'd love to work with William H. Macy, Billy Bob Thornton, um, Giovanni Ribisi would be an amazing
Oh,
guy to work with. I wouldn't mind going back and doing some more stuff with Bryan Cranston, uh, having a few more scenes with a little bit more meat to them with that guy, because he kind of taught me a lot about how to do this job. Um, and yeah, I'm blanking on all of the other ones that I would love to work
sure.
with, but yeah, anybody. I mean, I have such deep respect for anybody who works in this business on a regular basis, because it is a really tough business, not only to get in but to stay in. And so yeah, I'm just thrilled, and it's every time I get a job, I see somebody else, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to work with you. Um, So yeah, it's an easy uh it's yeah, I couldn't pick any one person that I can definitely think of right now.
Well, it must be so special to you when people that people have been reaching out to you, telling you how incredible it is to see you on the pit, and maybe surprised that you probably didn't tell anyone that you were appearing on the pit. But
Yeah,
it must mean so much to you that people are reaching out, telling you what a great role this is, how wonderful it is to see you. This has become such a fan favorite series, and to see you appear on it, your inbox must be flooded with people
it
complimenting you.
it is. I was having a problem. I got a little frustrated on my Instagram today. I was trying to read comments on posts, and I, as I was scrolling, it kept refreshing before I could get to the bottom of the list, and then I'd have to start over again and try and scroll faster, and it would because there are so many comments and so much great goodwill towards not only my character but the show in general. And man, I love being on shows like that. It's really just refreshing. Like there's so much crap going on in the world, and to have just a little bit of a break from that and see that there's a lot of good in humanity, um, and that they're there, and that they see what we're doing and what we're trying to do is it's a beautiful thing.
Well, you're so good. I cannot wait, obviously, as a
Oh,
hit person, to see what Digby has in store for us for the rest of the season. Thank you so much for sneaking me in, as I said, Charlie, for talking about this wonderful role. You are just chef's kiss good in it, and I cannot
thank
wait
you.
for more of this onion to unfold for us.
I can't wait for you to see it. I'm also looking forward to seeing the
Seeing
rest
how
of it
it
because I've only seen my parts, my scenes. I only know what's going on in my little work part of the hospital. I got to see a lot of the prosthetics in advance. I got to see little pieces and meet all the actors, but I didn't really get to, sit in and watch their scenes. And my whole family were fans. For some reason, we've decided to make it our dinner show, and so my whole family is like, why are we watching this right
right
now?
now.
And yet, and yet, every Thursday we all pull out the TV trays instead of the dining room table, and we're like, time for the pit. Bring on the spaghetti. Let's eat.